a comment and let me know, did you think this was helpful, and what other tips would you like other people to know? You know, it would be great if I had gotten my key out of my pocket before I put my gloves on, because holy shit, that's not easy. All right. All right. Welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody's doing all right. It's been a little bit. It's been a little bit since I recorded something, so when I say that, it probably hasn't been a little bit for anybody that watches my channel, because I try and keep posting every week, and I got one that's probably dropping today. Today, the day in which I'm recording, so that means nothing to you, so I probably shouldn't even say that. But I wanted to make one quick vid. This is my ride home from work. It's Thursday. I'm trying to have a nice chill ride. It was sweltering all day, but it actually ended up cooling down toward the end of the day. It was like 90 something and like high humidity. But you know, it's warm out still, but it's not so bad. But I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but you can see the haze. It's just hazy. There's no blue skies. It's like there's some blue hidden behind all that haze. Those clouds look pretty sick though, for reals though. Someone left a comment on a video, and so shouts to fill-in name here because I forgot his name. But it was one of my shorts. I'm pretty sure he left a comment on. Just one of the ones where I'm giving some. I guess some instructional advice, knowledge, whatever you want to call it. I don't want to categorize it as something it's not. I'm just spreading what I think is like useful, valuable information or ways to think about riding. Just stuff that's going to keep you safe, keep other riders safe while also having a good time, and also improving your skills so you become a better rider as time goes on. So anything I learn or anything I think that helped me, that I think might help somebody else by me sharing it on my channel, that's what I'm gonna do. So that's the motivation behind doing that, and I don't claim to be an expert. I think I've said that before, and for anybody that's new and watching me, I like to reiterate that so that everyone understands. I'm not an expert. I have, you know, a couple years of riding experience, not 10 years of riding experience, and I haven't done every expert level course. I'm just telling you what works for me, stuff I've learned that I think makes a difference and that matters. The point of doing this is having fun and then being able to do it again. You know, we don't want to be a disposable motorcyclist. You want to be able to ride and keep riding. Like that guy's in a tank top on the highway. I mean, do you, I wouldn't suggest it. That's all I'll say. There you go. That should be better for everybody. I hope. I hope that's a joke. It's an interesting time of day. It's like so hazy and cloudy, but it's not. It's still kind of sunny. It's very weird out right now. All right, let's get to it. So I was talking about practicing riding, and when I say that, I mean like deliberately practicing with intention. You hear people say like, you gotta act deliberately. Sometimes it's tough to know what that means. Really, it means consciously focusing on what you're practicing on, not just like, oh, I'm gonna ride around and get 100 miles worth of seat time, aka experience, and that's like practicing. And like in theory, like yeah, you're getting seat time, sure, but practicing, real practicing, is a lot different. I used to wrestle when I was in high school, and I only did it because I got cut from the basketball team, and it was the best thing that could have happened to me then, because it taught me a lot about discipline, and I thought I was in shape from playing basketball, and I really wasn't. And the one thing my wrestling coach said that stuck with me, he would always, like, it was his little shtick, but it made sense. He would say, practice does not make perfect. There's that saying everyone likes to go by, practice makes perfect, but that's in fact not true. He would reword it and rephrase it, and I don't know if he got it from somebody else or whatever, but this is where I first heard it from, was from my wrestling coach. And he would say, perfect practice makes perfect. You could practice something wrong, and if you practice the wrong way to do it, all you're gonna be is really good at doing it the wrong way. So, you know, that, like, I think the first time I heard that, I was like, oh shit, that's deep. Like, that stuck with me. It's like, all right, that actually makes a shit ton of sense. Go ahead, buddy. Makes a ton of sense. You could get really good at doing something the wrong way. And I was like, yeah, no, that adds up. That maths, you know? And that stuck with me with everything I do. And years later, same thing with riding. Like, we got a Harley guy behind me, a fucking tough guy. You seem like a nice enough lady. So, to get to the moral of the story, this isn't what the topic was, but it just leads into it. So, practice perfect practice. Perfect.
Stop it. Get some help. Perfect
practice makes perfect. So, that kind of goes with like riding. Like if you're practicing riding, that's great, but are you doing it with intention, and are you actually practicing specific things like slow speed maneuvering, braking, emergency or evasive maneuvers, emergency swerving? So my example, I think the video he discussed was the one where I talked about come up with a scenario in the parking lot, see how fast you're going, how long of a distance does it take you to actually get the bike stopped, get an idea for what your ability is and what the bike's capabilities are. So how short of a distance can you get that bike stopped? And the more you practice that, the shorter that distance will get, until you kind of reach what the bike's capabilities are, the maximum capabilities. But then also you'll have a much better idea of what you're able to do when you're in real life on the road and you have to slam on the brakes. I see too many videos of people getting in a situation, whether you see it coming or not, that's important. You really need to be good at that and being aware of your surroundings and having your head on a swivel. But even if you get yourself in a situation by accident or it's out of your control, you at least will know what you're able to do. The whole point is like knowing the distance, and then that's the distance you travel at plus some. You give yourself a cushion. So he left a comment talking about how riders we all engine brake to a slowdown. And I do this too. And when he said it, I never even thought to talk about it, but it was such a great point. Because I already do this instinctually, but I never thought, I'm sure eventually I would have got to it, but now's a good time to get to it, I think. Everyone engine brakes. Most people aren't getting the stoplights and like pulling endos, although like Jigsaw Bra and others probably are. If you are good at that and you know how to do it, great, but that's not how you're pulling up to every stop situation. You know, sometimes when I get to a stop, I lock up to pull the fake e-brake because it's fucking fun. Get used to the bike swerving around and how it behaves under sliding, and that way the more you do that, the more you're aware of what your bike is able to handle, and the better off you'll be when the situation comes up that you gotta fucking really handle the bike. But one thing I do is, so since you're always engine braking, naturally that means you're not hitting the actual brake, which means your brake light's not coming on. It's like a Formula 1 car. They don't have brake lights. The drivers all just know where the brake points are. So people on the road are not Formula 1 drivers. They have no idea when people are braking if they don't see lights. They're just, generally speaking, people are just not intelligent and or aware of everything enough to like be able to see, oh, the person in front of that. Like, I'm always looking a couple cars ahead. So that's me. I know a lot of people probably drive like that, but I know a lot of people don't. So if you're not looking a couple cars ahead, then you're like most people. And if you're like most people, you're like most people.
No! No! No!
One of those people, odds are, going to be driving behind you when you're coming to a stop. And because we all engine brake, our brake light doesn't get engaged, right? So what I do, and this guy brought it up, and like I said, I'm glad he said it because I didn't even think to talk about it. So I adjusted my rear brake lever, which generally speaking as a rider, you're not using very often, right? But what I do use it for more than anything, other than like emergency stops or just messing around and sliding the rear end around, is warning people that I'm slowing down when I'm engine braking. So I will, as I'm engine braking and slowing down, I will tap the rear brake once or twice, just a couple taps to flash it to let them know I'm slowing down and stopping. And one, the flashing effect, just like you see like people that have the update on their car or they program their brakes to do the flashing, like some race cars do. Not Formula One cars, but some race cars do. You just flash it and or hold your foot down on the brake light. Whatever you do, as long as that brake light is engaged, that's what matters. So in order to do that, so I'm not mashing my rear brake just to show people I'm stopping, there's a little adjustment you can set up. At least on the Ninja, it was pretty easy. It was just a bolt, a little nut with a little nut on a bolt that you just adjust to adjust the setting for your brake light. It basically sets at what point when you're pressing your rear brake lever does it engage your rear brake light. Well, I set mine a lot more sensitive, so now I'm just kind of tapping it lightly instead of having to go all the way down. So that way when I'm coming to a when I'm slowing down to a stop engine braking, all I do is just tap that brake lever a couple times or just kind of gently rest my foot on it, and now I'm not like really fully engaging my rear brake or anything, but I'm at least letting the people know behind me, like, yo, I'm slowing down, heads up, dum-dum. And obviously you don't have to do that all the time. If there's no one behind you, then there's no reason to do it. So when I see someone behind me, especially if it's someone that's like not too far away, and I've been keeping an eye on them and they've been driving kind of recklessly or they're a little too close for comfort, we all know those people, I especially use it then. So, all right, I don't want to make this too long. Sometimes I have a habit of going on, and I'm trying to rein that in a little bit. There will be videos where I can go on and on, where I do moto vlogs, and then there's going to be videos like this where I want to keep it short enough to keep people's attention span, which I know is not always the easiest thing nowadays, and I'm guilty of that too, so I'm not knocking anybody. But I just want people to be able to get information out of this and then move on to one of my other videos or somebody else's video. So yeah, when you're engine braking, like now, I have my foot on the brake, and if you're gonna do that technique, which I suggest you do, like I got someone behind me now in the Mercedes, and most Mercedes drivers are crazy, you know? If you're gonna do that, there's a little, you can't really see it, but there's an adjustment I think right here where it'll make that brake light engage a lot earlier in the travel of the foot pedal for the rear brake. So I suggest at least before you adjust it, go out back or go to your bike before you actually do any adjustment. Tap on that lever and just see how far down you have to go for the brake to engage. You get a gauge for whatever. Have someone stand back there and tell you when the light turns on. See how much you have to actually hit it. If it feels like you got to go down pretty far and you really got to press that brake to get the light to come on, I suggest YouTubing how to adjust that on your bike. I'm gonna just assume it's pretty much the same on every motorcycle. It's obviously a blanketed assumption, and Ducatis always like doing things different, so very, very likely that's not the case on a Ducati. I don't know. But what I will say is I would adjust that if you think it needs it, and I would take advantage of having that brake light when you're engine braking to a stop. It's just just another way to stop people from rear-ending you. I feel like one of the bigger risks, besides like intersections or open lane patterns, is the whole rear ending. So yeah, all right, we're gonna actually wrap this up. I got caught up going on tangents and shit. Sorry about that, but I appreciate you watching. Again, rewind this again if it didn't sink in and you want to understand it more. Just rewind it and listen back, and try and practice with intention. Come up with scenarios, get good at practicing specific skills, and make sure you use your brake lever to engage your brake light when you're engine braking. If you have a car behind you, it's just a smart move to just make people as aware as possible. like this guy on the wrong side of the road. Sick. Alright, appreciate everybody watching. Another captivating video by AZ Ninja.
Oh my God!
Thank you all for watching. I appreciate every viewer, subscriber, every like, and every comment, good or bad. It's really nice seeing all the positive comments from people. It means a lot. Honestly, like it sounds cliche and corny, and I'm sure everyone's like, oh, thank you so much. I can't tell you how much that means to me. But like I genuinely mean when I see people saying positive things, not telling me how awesome I am. I'm not talking about like just the fact that they think I'm helping people. I appreciate that. I would appreciate if you'd leave a comment and let me know, did you think this was helpful or not, and what other tips would you like other people to know, or other things you're curious about that you'd like to know about. I know the community is not as bad as people say. It's actually pretty great. So put your question in there and either I or someone else will for sure answer it. All right, y'all have a great one. And if you ride safe. We're out. You know what I'm saying?